Good morning. We are live from Pittsburgh's beautiful Schenley Park for the opening of race day for the 41st annual Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix here on the greens of the Bob O'Connor race course, or golf course. Now it's a race course, an event that started here in 1983, a one-day event which has expanded through the years to 10 days plus of events throughout the greater Pittsburgh area. A weekend at Pittsburgh International Race Complex, a black tie event, rallies, sports car events, car shows, and so much more. But here we are at the culmination of 10 days, the historic vintage car races here on the course that's created from the access roads in Pittsburgh's beautiful Schenley Park. We're so grateful for the city of Pittsburgh and Allegheny County to allow us to come back year after year. Our event celebrates great cars and people who love them, and we also are here to raise funds for the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix charity partners, the Merricky Allegheny Valley School and the Autism Society of Pittsburgh, called Autism Pittsburgh. To begin our activities, let us begin with the national anthem, and here to sing it is Maddie Herdwick.
Early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights on the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave.
Well done. Maddie Herdwick, thank you very much. Now I'd like to introduce to you the chairman of the board of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, Mr. Jim Dolan. Jim?
Thank you, Ted, and thank you, Maddie, for a wonderful rendition of the national anthem. I'm Jim Dolan, chairman of the board of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, and on behalf of the over 1,200 volunteers here that make this event happen, the board and our sponsors, I want to welcome our racers, car show participants, patron parkers, sponsors, and the over 100,000 people who come to Schenley Park yesterday and today to visit and celebrate this great event that supports important charities here in Western Pennsylvania. For 41 years, this event has come to the park, been hosted by the city of Pittsburgh and the great people of the city of Pittsburgh, and run a very unique event here in Schenley Park. This is the longest running street race in the United States, and we continue to be honored to be able to put it on and do important work for the community and the charities that we support. So on behalf of the board, I want to welcome our racers, thank our volunteers, and all of the people who make this happen. Welcome to the 41st running of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. Ted?
Thank you, Jim. Now I'd like to introduce to you the executive director of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix in his 21st year as our executive director. This is Dan Del Bianco. Dan?
Thank you, Ted. And how many years is this for you?
This is my 41st year.
Yeah, I'll catch up eventually.
Yeah, we'll see.
Ted's been the voice since the very beginning and does a tremendous job. And I would almost echo everything that Jim just had to say about the Grand Prix. I mean, if you're in this park, we want to thank you because you're involved in one way or another of keeping this incredible event going. And I love what we've done here with the stage. Where's Bernie Martin over here on the left? He's been on the stage a couple of times already, but he's helped pull this together with the crew at Cut and Run. I want to thank People's Natural Gas for staging the People's Stage. This is the first time for us, and this is something that we hope to build on. So I'm here to introduce our special guests. I'm going to step over here and grab our first checkered flag. And this is for our Grand Marshal, Luigi Canetti Jr. Luigi's got a long and incredible history in his family in racing with Ferraris, and that's the shirt that I have on here, the North American Racing Team. His father was the first Ferrari dealership here. And actually, you're going to do a much better job of talking about the things that you've done. So let me present you with the flag first. It's got the new Grand Prix logo on it. We've rebranded as a motorsport festival. And I can't think of a more fitting special guest to come in as our first Grand Marshal, Luigi Canetti Jr.
And what I can say is that this is one hell of a good event. Nobody doesn't smile. Everybody's got a smile on their face. It's unbelievable. Between the smiles and the architecture and the layout here, good grief, you can't do any better. You can recognize all the cars, and they recognize us, and they look at me, and I look at them and say, I know you, you're an MG. Nowadays, you can't do that because you can't tell one thing from another. Paintable. If you painted them all black, forget it.
They'd all look the same.
They all look the same.
So you've raced all over the world, Le Mans and everywhere else. What do you think of this street course that we have here? Is it something you'd like to get out and try?
Well, I'm a little old for that, but I'm certainly looking forward to going around it. But it's like the tracks they used to be. In the 50s, they raced what they had. But with the trees and everything, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's unbelievable. You come up to go here with all the houses that are nifty. This is really, it's like going back to the 40s or 50s, which is a place I still like to.
It's exactly what we had in mind as well, and we're honoring those cars. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Luigi Canetti Jr.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. You can take that to the side.
I can take that down?
You can take it with you.
Oh.
We have plenty.
Oh, good.
Next is Danny Panos. It says Daniel Panos on here, but I've known him for a week now, so I can call him Danny. And I'm just going to let him jump in because he's going to do a better job than I am. So there's your flag. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And so
thank you.
Tell everybody what you're all about, why you're here, and maybe a little bit about the cars across the street.
I first, but I'd like a little preamble.
Okay.
It was met Mr. Canetti for the first time.
Oh, was it really?
So a real honor, and for the young enthusiasts here that may not know, him and his family painted the canvas for sports cars and motorsports in this country. So if you ever get a chance to meet a legend, that truly is one. So I was honored to follow him. So just thanks for everything your family's done for the sports car world. Anyway. My name's Dan Panos, and we've been around about 30 years, and we're what you would call a small volume manufacturer. So what that really means is in this country, we built fully certified cars, EPA, DOT, met all the regs, and there's not many companies in the States that do that, but build them in small volume. And literally right across from this tent we've got a pretty good display of about 30 years of our history, but we also participated an awful lot in motorsports. So IndyCar, Le Mans, GT racing, where I think we've had a lot of our success competing against brands like Porsche and Ferrari. And happy to say on several occasions we won Le Mans and led all the GT racing in 2006 with the cars that we built over there. And then people might know us best from my father, Don Panos. And Don Panos had this vision after going to Le Mans for the first time. And he's the gentleman that gave you the American Le Mans series, which is anything and all the classes, including all the rules, including all the officials who could not speak English. They brought you racing in this country 12 times a year with all the teams and all the cars that race at Le Mans, which is still going on in one format or another today through IMSA and through the NASCAR group. But if anybody has, if you get a chance, come over and see the cars. There's people over there that know it. We've got a lot of displays of just about everything we've done over 30 years, and there's about 21, 22 cars over there. So thank you very much for having us. What an honor.
Congratulations.
Yep.
This next guest is our honorary starter who needs little introduction to anyone that's into vintage racing. Bert B.S. Levy, author of the infamous The Last Open Road, the Bible of all vintage racers, and I'm glad to present you with the honorary starter. And starter is right because he starts a lot of trouble. And so before he starts, I'm going to quickly tell the story. Ted mentioned that I started 20 years ago, and it was almost 20 years ago to the day. And I was meeting with a client as I was leaving my previous company. He worked at SAE, and I said, "This is my last time with you. I'm leaving. I'm going to join the Vintage Grand Prix as the executive director." And he jumped up. He said, "You'll do a great job. You'll love it. What do you know about vintage racing?" And I said, "Not much." And he turned around from his bookshelf and grabbed The Last Open Road, your book, and he handed it to me. He said, "You have 1 week to read this." And it was a wonderful read, and it gave me all the background I need to know. So hopefully I'll help you sell some books here. But ladies and gentlemen, Bert Levy.
Well, the guy that really got in our way is the guy that gave you his book instead of making you buy your own. We don't like people like that. No, I'm in love with the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. I came here as a driver and to sign some books in, I think, 1998. J.R. Mitchell gave me a very good Lotus 7 to drive, and I was fortunate to win my race that year, which was really exciting. And I've written about open road sports car racing back in the 50s for, my God, 30 years now. But this is the first place and also the only place ever where I've gotten to experience it very much as it was. This is an unbelievable track. It's got flow, it's got rhythm, it's got scenery, it's got elevation changes, and it's got stuff to hit. It's got crowns to the road, it's got sluice gates, it's got hay bales that are supposed to protect the trees from the driver. Oh no, protect the drivers from the trees. There it is. And it's one of the most exciting and enjoyable racetracks I've ever been on. And it's also one of the most competitive. Even if you're faster than the guy in front, you can be held up for a long time. At any rate, thank you for having me back here. I'm loving it. I only wish I was driving again this year. We're at the entrance to the paddock with all my books. Come by and I will bend your ear until you buy one.
He will. Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you, Bert.
Thank you so much. Who gets this?
So typically at this time of the year, we bring up Dan Turiski from the Autism Society. And sadly, we lost Dan last fall. So I want to have his son, Jesse Turiski, who now runs Autism Pittsburgh, come up. And everybody loved your father. He was the face of this organization for decades. He was there in the beginning. And we are so sorry to have lost him. But we spent a lot of good years together.
We certainly did. And I said this yesterday, and I mean it. I believe my dad is here today. They were kind enough to let me know that they were going to mention him again, and so I invited my sister Danielle, who's in the front, my cousin Janice Sanson and her husband Tom, our vice president Mary Wildman, and I just want to say that I am honored to be here and I am humbled at the continuation of this awesome event. Oh, I'm sorry. And here's some other friends over here. Riata that brings my brother to the event and back. Through your constant efforts and hard work, we're able to continue doing the things that my mom and dad started, and not only that, expand upon them. We're continuing to work with other organizations on collaborative things that my parents never even dreamed of. And I cannot thank you guys enough. And I'm looking forward to this continuing on into the future. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Jesse. We also have another charity that's been here from the very beginning. Allegheny Valley School, which is now Merrickey Allegheny Valley School, and Kelly Gremba is here. And Kelly's a little bit late because she's running around. All of the Merrickey volunteers, you can see them over here in the merchandise tent working. You'll see them throughout the entire facility working and running around and running the clubhouse.
And we love it. We've built such a big community of our Allegheny Valley School families and our individuals and all these volunteers. So thank you, everyone. And just thank you to all the volunteers. This event, would not happen without you. And thank you so much to the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. We've been one of the beneficiaries since 1983, since the event started. It has helped to fund so many projects at AVS, renovations, equipment, program development. So really from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for always including us, and we love it.
Well, we couldn't do it without you. How many volunteers do you have here from your organization, do you think?
From the organization, probably about 40, I'm going to say, but then a lot of family members. We have some individuals that jump in the booths to help, and it's really just built a huge community, and everyone looks forward to it every year.
So if you see anybody with the volunteer T-shirt here, please give them a wave and say thank you. They're here on their own time. Not only all weekend, but a lot of them have been here since Thursday and Friday, and others will be back tomorrow to clean up. So thank you, everyone, and we'll be starting our afternoon races in about a half an hour. We've got to give all of our team a lunch break here. Thank you.